On the 26th of September 1983, at precisely 12:15 a.m. Moscow time, a computer screen inside a Soviet early warning bunker lit up with a message that, if believed, would have changed the course of human history forever. It was a time of high geopolitical tension. The Cold War was not just a battle of ideology, it was a silent standoff between two nuclear giants, each with enough firepower to destroy the world multiple times over. The Soviet Union had developed an advanced satellite-based missile detection system called OCO, designed to monitor any incoming threats from the United States. That night, OCO reported an incoming nuclear missile, then 2, then 5. In just minutes, the computer model predicted the complete annihilation of key Soviet targets. Standard protocol demanded immediate escalation, a counterattack that would have launched thousands of warheads in return. But the final decision lay in the hands of one man, Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov, an officer trained not to question, but to act. What followed was a moment of extraordinary restraint, a decision made not with certainty, but with doubt, and it may have been the only reason we're still here today. Petrov sat still, surrounded by blinking monitors and the cold, sterile glow of military-grade technology. The red warning on his screen wasn't a simulation, it was the real thing. Missile launch detected, confidence high. This wasn't just a warning, it was a calculated assertion from a system trusted to detect existential threats. Protocol was clear: report the alert up the chain, confirm retaliation, fire back. But in that moment, Petrov hesitated. He stared at the display, not with panic, but with sharp skepticism. Something didn't add up. Why only 5 missiles? If this was a genuine first strike, the US would launch hundreds, not a handful. It smelled wrong. The radar systems hadn't picked up anything, only the satellite data was ringing alarm bells. His fingers hovered over the phone that could have triggered global catastrophe. But instead of escalating, Petrov chose to wait, not out of defiance, but logic. He understood that the system was new, untested, vulnerable to error, and he made a decision that violated protocol, but likely saved the world. He reported it as a false alarm, taking full personal responsibility, knowing that if he was wrong, he would have doomed the Soviet Union. For 23 agonizing minutes, Petrov sat in silence, watching the screen that could decide the fate of humanity. Every passing second was a collision between doubt and duty. He could feel the weight of a potential nuclear holocaust pressing against his chest, a weight few men in history have ever faced. Around him, the other officers were tense, shifting in their seats, ready to escalate. The air was thick, not just with fear, but with the inertia of war machines that had been programmed to respond without thinking. But Petrov thought. He trusted his gut more than the satellite data, more than the blinking red text that screamed annihilation. That decision wasn't born out of arrogance. It came from a deep understanding of how machines can misfire and how easily humanity can vanish in their errors. In those crucial minutes, he didn't see enemy missiles. He saw families, cities, entire continents, and the world reduced to ash because of one mistake. When the system eventually corrected itself and confirmed no missiles were coming, the room went silent. No explosions, no war, just the quiet victory of a man who dared to question a machine. Yet he didn't feel like a hero. He felt exhausted, haunted by the fact that the fate of the world had balanced on a single judgment call, his. What many don't realize is how close we truly came to extinction that night. If Petrov had simply followed protocol, as trained as expected, a retaliatory strike would have been launched within minutes. Dozens of Soviet nuclear warheads would have soared across the Arctic, aimed directly at the United States and its allies. The US, interpreting this as an unprovoked first strike, would have responded in kind. Within an hour, entire cities would be gone. New York, Washington DC, London, Moscow turned into irradiated shadows. Global communications would fail. Food systems, water supplies, infrastructure, all obliterated. Billions wouldn't die immediately. Many would starve, freeze, or suffer through the nuclear winter that followed. It wouldn't be war. But what does it mean to trust intuition in a world built on cold, hard data? To this day, Petrov's decision remains a paradox, a human triumph in an age of automated warfare. He didn't follow the rules. He didn't take the path of least resistance. Instead, he took a risk that could have cost him everything. In a world where every military command is steeped in rigid protocols, the idea of ignoring a critical warning signal was nothing short of heresy. The Soviet Union, at the height of the Cold War, had already conditioned its officers to respond instantly. A retaliatory strike was inevitable, they were told, if the systems pointed to a threat. Yet, Petrov's experience had taught him something no algorithm could predict, that even the most advanced technology was not foolproof. His life, like so many others, depended on a decision made in a fleeting moment of doubt. Was it fate? Was it chance? Or was it the result of a deep, almost primal understanding of the human condition? Petrov, in his quiet wisdom, had managed to see the world not as a series of binary codes and mathematical equations, but as something far more fragile, something worth protecting. And in the quiet aftermath, as the false alarm faded into the night, Petrov's actions were buried in secrecy. There were no medals, no recognition. His bravery was not celebrated. It was dismissed as an anomaly, a glitch in the system. The pressure Petrov faced was unbearable. One man alone in the dark with the weight of human civilization hanging in the balance. In the brief seconds it took to process the data, he was forced to make an impossible choice. The threat was real, the calculations were precise, and yet, in the depths of his mind, Petrov questioned the system. He questioned everything. The technology, designed to protect, was ironically the very thing that could destroy us. So, as I said in the title, this one person is the reason you're watching this video, because if things had gone just a little differently, if Stanislav Petrov had trusted the system blindly, if he had panicked even for a second, then maybe you, me, and billions of others would never have existed to hear this story. The world would have been reduced to radioactive ash in a matter of hours, a fiery curtain falling over civilization, not because of hatred, not even war, but because of a glitch, and one man's decision to not trust the machine. That night wasn't just a near miss, it was a glimpse into the abyss, a haunting reminder that our fate doesn't always rest with world leaders or nuclear treaties. Sometimes it lies silently in the hands of one tired man in a dark room, watching a screen, deciding whether the world lives or dies. Stanislav Petrov didn't just save us, he proved that humanity, in its purest moment of clarity, can override chaos. He didn't pull the trigger, and because of that, we're still here.